What's wrong with the vocal being slightly sharp? It's okay. I mean, that's intonation. You know.
This is something, this piece of this conversation will come with me because I think we all need to be reminded how beautiful humanness is.
Hi. Hi. David. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Pleasure to meet you. Finally to get to meet you.
Such a pleasure.
Rozette. Pleasure. And Jay Kai. I hear your voice all the time.
You did?
But
Oh my God.
I don't know what you look like in person.
Well, I try to hide myself as much as possible.
You're the mystery man.
Well, you know, you have always been my idol.
Thank you.
Always been. You're really important to the evolution of Chinese music.
Come on. That's
Seriously.
that's a little bit too much, but thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Honestly.
Thank you.
It's great.
It's great to meet you guys.
Great to meet you too, and I know
meet you guys.
this actually is very exciting for both of us for kind of different reasons. I know he grew up loving the shit out of him. That seems to be.
Okay.
But for me too, it's been you have been an important part of my evolution as I learn more and more about Chinese music, Chinese culture, and you're such an interesting character to me because you speak English, you speak Mandarin. You sing in both, and your songs tend to include a little bit of both.
Sure.
So that kind of was able to draw me in a little.
Okay.
You are one of the artists that have been able to draw me in because I can relate to both the English that you mix in and the sound.
Okay.
And the sound.
Yeah. Watch a lot, and then you listen to a lot of Mandarin, then you kind of start to pick it up a little bit, right?
I mean,
slowly.
Hey, I'm working on xie.
Oh, okay. That's good. It sounds good. My voice is actually a little bit, I'm kind of under the weather.
You are?
Yeah. So I was struggling for the last few performances. I had to sing, and I think I caught something just before I came out.
Oh my God,
but it's
is
okay,
so
but it's
relatable.
That's what happened to her too.
Oh, okay.
She was sick when she performed.
You had a show or something, right? Yeah. It's rough, and I think with the weather, now that it's, and it's kind of like it's hot indoors, it's really warm indoors with the heater on. You know, when you go out, it's like,
Actually, what do you do? What do you do when you have a show and are struggling from cold or fatigue?
You know, and this is something, this is something kind of bizarre to share. I take this thing, and it doesn't have any side effects at all. I call it NAC, and the reason why I even know about it is because I listened to this podcast by this doctor. Well, he's Dr. Andrew Huberman.
I love Huberman.
So NAC is like acetyl something, and what it does is it actually, when you don't have a cold or even when you do, it helps relieves the mucus. Because I have a lot of not
boogery. Boogery.
Yeah, boogery.
Yeah. That's the official term.
Oh, it is boogery. Okay.
Yes.
Boogery.
Sometimes it's like when I sing, and then it really bothers me when I do falsetto. So when I go,
it vibrates.
And then it goes like, and then you hear it kind of just a little bit grungy.
Yes. Yeah, it's the grit we don't want.
Exactly.
Because you can't control it.
You don't want it with falsetto.
Yes.
So that actually really helps. So you know what, something that I do a lot is before I go on a show, I warm up to singers who I like, of course, and the music is also, it gets me pumped up, it gets me excited.
Yeah.
But also, I like Stevie a lot, Stevie Wonder.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, because he, his voice is sometimes not connected, but sometimes it's very connected. And when it's connected, it's so spot on. And he's not pulling any chest, and he's just very light. But then sometimes he does pull chest, and you want that sound.
Well, you love that sound, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. It's cool to hear that you warm up to artists you love, because it's kind of a funny thing as a musical artist, when you're getting ready to go perform your own material, it feels like, should I be listening to that? Should I be listening to something that pumps me up? Should I be listening to something that I relate to vocally? So kind of interesting to hear that you're
so when I'm doing makeup and hair, I'll listen to stuff that I'm just feeling at the moment, and it could even be Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Oh yeah.
Or it could be something very, very, you might think I'm very, something kind of wacky and fun.
Yeah.
And then when I'm about to go on, then it's kind of more about the voice.
Yes.
Just hitting those, just really kind of hitting those notes, So, and that's more about, I'm getting the car ready to race. I have my little routine.
One fellow vocal coach told me to do shots of olive oil.
Oh, wow.
I don't.
橄榄油. Wow. 喝就是一大杯 like big like shots.
She was filling shot glasses, but girl, I can't.
Yeah, you got the bigger.
Can't do.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's fattening, but I don't know if it's maybe.
She said you gotta
healthy,
grease
right?
up the vocal.
Grease up the vocal.
Yeah.
As if you can do riffs and runs better.
Yeah, it's like smoother riffs.
Oh, just grease it up. Yeah.
Lubricate the voice.
That's literally literal lube. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people ask me, like in because Chinese, there's a lot of like these herbal, medicinal.
Ninjum.
Yeah.
Oh, she has been taking some.
Like there's also. I honestly, I don't take any of it, and but it's not like to say it's not good. But like Peng Da Hai is something. Peng Da Hai looks like a sponge.
Okay.
It's like a brown sponge that you cook and then you drink the water.
Does it taste good? It doesn't sound like it
No,
tastes good.
Actually, it's like 甜甜的. 蓬大海甜甜的嘛, right? It's
sweet.
It's kind of sweet.
Orange 味道.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
tastes like
an
orange.
Okay, I'll taste it. I'll
tangerine
do.
kind of thing. And then another thing is that I think actually does work, and it's 罗汉果. 罗汉果 is like it looks like a dried like small pear.
You eat it fresh?
No, it's dehydrated.
Oh,
it's like
dried.
dried. It's dried up. I don't know how they dry it. Maybe this is a question that we can post.
Okay.
Do you actually cook the entire thing, the entire fruit, or do you only cook the shell?
And then tea?
And then it's like a brown liquid. All Chinese medicine is brown liquid.
Brown liquid, I'm gonna be honest, you're not selling the delicious
I know it
factor,
isn't.
But I will try both.
But think about it, a bitter brown liquid, coffee.
Ooh, yeah.
Coffee,
fair.
that's right.
Bitter brown liquid,
So
coffee.
NAC and those two, we try.
NAC, try it. Pipa Gao, of course, is that's like. I think anything too sweet maybe though is maybe not so good, right?
Yeah.
Well, they recommend honey, but I feel what I tell my students is it really is singer to singer, person to person.
Sure.
What works for one does not work for another. For example, honey and lemon is often recommended, but to me, lemon is a citrus. Citrus is a mucus producer.
Sure.
We don't want the boogery.
Yeah,
so
right,
I never get excited about lemon, even though it's constantly recommended.
It's true. You know, like the cough drops are like honey, lemon.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
And here in China, people keep pouring me hot water.
Oh yeah, that's a big thing.
This is not
very
refreshing.
But maybe warm water.
Yes, well,
right?
but even so, I mean, I find cold water very refreshing.
Ah, okay.
But I guess as a singer, we know that cold makes you tense.
Yeah.
So I probably wouldn't guzzle ice water before walking on stage, but
Yes.
I do miss a cold water here in China. That's probably one of the only things I can complain about. Nobody will serve me ice water.
I will serve you.
You will.
Get like an ice bucket and just put the water
Well,
in
you'll
there.
be the only one. You'll be the only one. Thank you.
Yeah. I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean.
It's good. I mean, I think that it's something I will take home with me. I'm getting used to it. It is calming and relaxing.
Yeah.
But I still constantly am like, oh, a fresh glass of warm water. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Great for digestion. Thank you.
True.
不会吧？我们在这边要唱3个小时哎。
My current show, well, the show that we did, last year, the tour, was it basically ran for 3 hours, and there were obviously like a few parts of the show where I wasn't singing, I was just changing, but I mean I was just singing, and it is very stressful because you go up there and you're like, oh my. What's going to happen? What's going to happen when I hit that note? Am I going to crack? And then I've cracked, many times. But I just go like, hey, just it's
life.
That's the moment, That's the moment.
Know.
And then sometimes, and maybe there's a way to kind of crack beautifully or gracefully. Is there?
I don't know. Yes.
I think we may have tried to do that. On one of our recent.
I guess it's kind of tricky, right, to crack.
I will say. Again, I wear vocal coach hat, I wear artist singer hat, and as a vocal coach, I'm telling people things like, hey, if you're sick and you have to go on stage, don't take ibuprofen and acetaminophen because you won't be able to monitor the pain and you might press. Singer hat, I took 2 and 2. 2 extra strength acetaminophen, 2 extra strength Tylenol. So much pain.
It was that bad?
Yeah, it's just like the luck of it sometimes. I haven't had that situation for a long time, but it was actually quite humbling, the coach side of me, because it's very easy to dole out advice.
Sure.
When you don't have to walk a mile in that shoe as often. So this trip has been very humbling on many layers and levels.
I think every show that we do is humbling, and I think that one thing that when you were speaking that came to mind is when you are kind of not in prime kind of condition, you really have to zone in on technique, and you have to really focus. And it's like you have to make everything small, and you really have to work the mic
and relax. That's the thing. The tension will get you. The tension will get you.
You know, that's one of the funny things that I tell like my team sometimes. It's kind of like martial arts or like boxing or anything. Yeah. It's like you want to be as loose as possible, but then you have to connect and you have to use a lot of force. But when you're singing, sometimes it's like, I'm already stressed. How can I relax? I'm like so stressed, and I have to.
It is, but singing is a lot about subtle muscle movement and subtle muscle adjustment, riffs and runs, even vibrato. So the more tension you introduce, and if you're already on a hoarse voice, tension, you're done.
Sure, you're done.
You're gonna crack. You're gonna crack. So it's mentally, as you were saying, you have to really go here. Mentally, it's like. I have to actively relax.
Sure,
it's kind of like a...
I'll tell you another really funny thing is, like the last show that we did was outdoors.
Outdoors hard.
Yeah, it was in Guangzhou, and it was just when it was beginning to be a little bit colder. And I was telling...
big inhale
exactly,
of cold air.
And I was telling like, you know, the chorus, the background, our singers, and I was saying like, you know what? Try to breathe through your nose as much as possible.
Because it warms it.
Exactly, because but as singers we're used to going like, and then it's like cold air, and your voice is like freaking Sahara Desert, you know.
I played an outdoor gig at the 2010 Vancouver Olympics. I played it in
right?
I sang in the minus and played piano -29.
Your hands were like just, rigid.
But every inhalation.
So you say that's actually when you have to do something that's unnatural for singers. Is to breathe through your nose.
It's inefficient is the thing. That's why we don't do it, because it's slow. It's slow and inefficient. But it is necessary sometimes.
It is, yeah. And that was something that I was going like, all right, well next year I probably have to do more of that because I'm going to be singing outdoors next year. Well, this year actually.
That's your whole tour?
Well, this year the tour will start. It's going to be within China. It's going to be all outdoors.
Oh wow!
So it's going to be larger. I mean, it's not the size of the venue. It's more about just dealing with all the elements.
The elements, absolutely. And I find outdoor does sound different and feel different. No matter how dialed in your monitoring is, it just outdoor air just eats sound differently. So outdoor is like.
Yeah, there's a lot of like little things you have to do. You know, like we had a catwalk stage that wasn't actually. It was like 45 meters, which was not that long. But the thing is, when you get out there, it's a mess. I mean, and when you sing like this, like the audience is there, or when you sing like this, it's different. Because when you sing like this, all the sound from the speakers goes into your mic.
Right.
And then it goes back into the speakers.
Right.
It's like feedback.
It is. It's something very difficult to explain until you've experienced it.
Yeah. And then what I did was my music director is actually Canadian. So, you know, he's like this. He's very talented, you know, like kind of cocky sometimes. Right? So I said, you know what? You get your butt over there at the front of that catwalk, and you sit at that piano, and you play, and you sing that song, because it's like this weird delay, and and then you have to really listen to the click. So basically, everything is kind of turned down, and you're just playing to like a click.
The first time I sang in the Saddle Dome, which is our big NHL hockey arena, they're like, "Oh, put your in-ears in." I'm like, "I don't need in-ears. I'm good.
No.
So I got through it, and I was like, "Go me!" And everybody's like, "Good, very slow, but very good." Okay. Because it's like.
You were just like a bar, like, you know, behind on that entire song.
It was a cappella.
Oh, okay.
It was a cappella. It's just they were like, well, I guess this is not so much hockey, it's more you.
Because you can
hear delay.
Yes,
waiting for that delay.
Yeah.
Well, the next part you won't like it because we're gonna look at some of the footages from our recent performance.
You've seen so much of my like disasters. now it's time for me to see
it is a mini
her disaster.
I will not.
She was struggling.
I want us to say to our fans and to our skeptics, This is a beautiful moment for you. This is so humbling for me, so freaking uncomfortable. You are welcome.
Yeah.
I did not even want to agree to this, but here we go.
Come on.
Well,
I deserve this.
it was posted.
It's online, so it's real.
I know.
Right? I'll see it somehow. Okay. Oh, sorry. I think their show. Running a little bit.
I don't know if we will have time
fast.
for this then. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I really want to watch it.
No, it's good. It's good.
Okay.
Oh, we'll come back.
Sure.
We'll be back.
All right.
Because I think my part's coming up, and I'm the.
Go on. I'll be right
good
here.
luck. Good luck.
Yeah.
All right.
给你力量改变世界。我们一起来改变这个世界，爱你们，新年快乐！
So, hello, we got interrupted because first, David had to perform and receive an award. Now, Jay Kai is on stage.
Right here I sing a song for you. I cheer for Bilibili with you.
So, due to the magic of editing, we are going to pick up where we left off.
Yeah, of course.
But before we do this icky part where you listen to me, I just want to say that having the opportunity to hear you live, what's on my heart is, wow, are you ever the definition of a singer who is truly an artist and an artist who is truly a singer? And do you know what I mean by that? I think that today there's so many kinds of music. There's so much tools, there's so much technology we have that I don't want to say it's a dying art because we must have it continue.
Sure.
But hearing a real singer, I'm going to say, in person is such a special experience.
Thank you.
Man,
No, thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. It's very flattering. Thank you.
Oh, your tone.
Thank you.
Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. Thank you.
Chef's kiss.
Thank you.
So let's get to this
All
awkward
right.
part. But you know what? It's been a long day, and I'm going to tell you guys it's the evening, and these earrings are getting heavy.
Sure.
So I'm done.
All right.
Done with the earrings. But let's go. Let's awkwardly watch me together.
I'm very excited.
Oh, great. Great.
This was like, we did in Shanghai, right?
Yes, it is. Beautiful venue called Kizi.
Cool.
Enjoyed myself thoroughly, although ran into a little bit of car trouble.
Oh, okay.
So was 15 minutes late for the actual show, not just call time.
Oh my gosh.
Hustling.
Okay.
Mop and broom.
Boy, you didn't think you'd see the day you'd give in easily. Every time you look at me, you know I got you on your knees. All the moves that you pull on other girls won't get you far with me. You can beg and promise me the world, but I hold your key.
Nice.
Your heart is terrible. I got you tied up, won't set you free. Someone better get
It's hard to watch yourself.
I know it is.
'cause I'ma make a man.
Try and still look happy.
If you only knew, I'ma make a mess of you.
I think we've had enough.
Sounds great.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that at all.
Thank you. Thanks for listening.
It was great. It was great.
Can I try and pack in a few more questions? before
Sure,
we peace
of
out?
course, of course.
At what age
Great.
did you start songwriting?
Yeah, I think it was probably right before high school, like junior high.
13, 14.
Yeah, 13, 14. And you know, they were probably like, some of those were kind of like instrumental stuff, you know, and then I would have like a little melody idea, but it would just be like a fragment.
And who are your inspo peeps? Stevie?
When I was young, I think it was really the Beatles.
Really?
I grew up listening to the Beatles. I'm actually, if you ask me, a lot of my roots are actually rock roots.
Actually, that's not too surprising, but R&B, you are...
I think being labeled as R&B has kind of been like this thing that, like, it's a double-edged sword. You know, like, I actually, when I was in high school, you know, I was in a very diverse high school. So I had friends who listened to metal, and then I had, you know, kids that were listening to like the alternative stations. They're like into Oingo, they're into Boingo, very, very, you know, electronic-y stuff sometimes, and it was like Erasure, Depeche Mode,
all over the place,
Soft Cell. And then I had people that were just listening to classical. And then there was the jazz kind of group of friends, and then there was, you know, the more kind of like progressive stuff. So I actually even listened to bands like Rush, which is a Canadian band.
Yeah.
Huge band. You know, so I listened to actually a lot of things, and it wasn't really just R&B. But now I've become like, people just say, you know, it's just one of those things. It's just
the titles are always hard.
Sure.
Because as soon as we're titled, there's some sort of weird pressure for us to fit into it, and people always want to put us in a box as artists.
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna also ask you, first of all, thank you for tuning into whatever you have of our show.
Yes.
What do you think about us commenting on the kinds of topics?
I think it's great. You know, honestly, when I first watched your videos, and it was like, I think it was a friend or somebody who sent it to me. And you know, when I was watching it, I was obviously, you know, you're always a bit nervous when people critique your stuff. And I think the thing that's great about you is that you obviously come from a technical background. And I think that's one thing that's great. But I think the thing is that you are also a singer, a writer, a performer, so you understand all aspects. Some I think people who critique these videos, they themselves necessarily aren't, they don't play all the roles. They may be just like a critic, or they may be a singer, kind of, you know, but they don't really know the whole kind of like...
that if you're singing kind of out of tune, your monitor might be a little bit off.
They don't really know, you know about live performances, and I think you actually, you often really hit the nail on the head. So you're very precise, but I think you're not out to damage people and to hurt people. You're very, very, I think you always finish every episode on a very positive note, and I think that's something that I really appreciate and enjoy, not just about me, but just about everybody.
I have a lot of love for artists. Thank you. Thank you. I have a lot of love for artists. I have a lot of love for our craft. But this even conversation with you is very, well, it's very surreal, but it's also very sobering, because it is easy to sit behind the computer screen, even for myself. And as much as I try and remember that the artists in front of me are living, breathing creatures who... But I have to say, I did not think you all would end up watching that shit.
Oh, no.
Like, I could not have in 1,000 years thought you would watch a video of me watching you. So that's wild. But
that's great.
It's sobering, though, to be here with you, not only to hear you sing and to speak with you, but it will reinforce my desire to come from my love for the craft, my love for the art, and my deep respect for getting on that stage.
Yeah, and I think one other thing that I really enjoy about watching your videos, I think because you're Canadian, and then you're not really in the Mandarin music business. Right. You know, it's kind of like people will look at it differently. Not that they'll take it lighter, but it's that they'll actually say, like, well, you know, she's coming at it from another direction. And I also think is that you also will sometimes highlight what people are actually doing technically, and I think that's really nice. Like sometimes you'll go, oh, all right, that vocal's been tuned before. That's been kind of doctored already.
Well, you know, that's one thing that kind of caught me off guard. Jay put these videos in front of me, and I didn't really know, like, when it's not your culture, when it's not your language, it's for lack of a better word, it's foreign enough that I'm removed from it slightly. So I'm not coming at it as a fangirl. I'm not coming at it with any personal connection. Well, it's starting to.
I know what you mean.
Doing the show long enough that I'm starting to get connected to some artists. But I think, you know, I had no idea people would find it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, and I think that it's great that they think it's interesting, because you're coming at it you're actually bringing different layers to it as well. Like, and I think there's one episode you were talking about, for example, our voices age as we age, the sound ages, things like that.
It's such an emotional topic.
And I'll tell you something, like, in the past few years, there have been some a lot of dirt and a lot of gossip about fake singing during live, where it's that they're actually miming, and
yes,
and it's being played in the program.
Yes,
things like that.
One thing I want to add is I never set out, Jay Kai and I never set out to pull the curtain back and reveal things. I simply was speaking from what I heard and basically, I don't want to say knew to be true, but suspected based on my professional experience.
Sure.
So at no time am I like, this is actually doctored. I'm like, there's just some editing on here. Yeah. So people's response, and this is whatever country you go to, whatever language you speak, what I've realized is my experience in this industry does make my ear different than the average bear. So people were kind of like, I can see people responding like, no, this is my favorite artist. They wouldn't do that. Or no, this is my favorite artist. They don't need to do that. But I hope people are starting to understand that this isn't about calling anyone out. Just sharing my knowledge.
And like I said, I think the thing about your videos that adds the layers that even somebody like me, when I watch it, I go, hey, that's true. Or maybe like, hey, I should pay more attention to this. Sometimes I'll listen to Donny Hathaway, for example. They actually used to sing kind of sharp. And they didn't, it's not like they didn't have the technology. Well, they didn't have the technology.
But they chose not to.
Yeah, but sometimes, what's wrong with the vocal being slightly sharp? It's okay. I mean, that's intonation.
This is something, this piece of this conversation will come with me, because I think we all need to be reminded how beautiful humanness is. And I really want to reflect that back to myself, because I say it a lot, but I want to give myself that same grace. I really want to. So I'm going to try. I'm going to try. Thank you so much for this conversation. Thank you so much for making time.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Would you like to pop back in?
Jay-Kai is finally back.
I just came back from the ending show. Just having to get changed. Awesome. All right. Are we ready to watch something, or have you already watched it?
We've already watched. It was
it
was 没有翻车. It was.
你觉得没有翻车?
我觉得 it was great. I mean, I really did. I honestly, nothing was glaring.
He's giving me a lot of grace. And I'll take that grace.
It was good stuff.
But I know that he does need to get on the road. So take one last glimpse at this handsome idol of yours.
I think we will definitely be meeting more in the future.
I hope that.
And I hope so. And I do my show, hopefully this year, in Canada. I will invite you.
Please do.
Yes.
What a pleasure.
The tour should go to Vancouver and Toronto.
We will be there with freaking bells on.
Yes, that'll be awesome. That'll be awesome.
Cheers to you. Thank you so much for making time.
And Jay-Kai, thank you very much. Thank you. So great. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
新年快乐.
Yeah, 新年快乐.
新年快乐.
Yeah, right on.
Oh wow.
This is actually my first album, but
you probably will die for this.
But it's a vinyl.
Yes.
Oh!
And then for you.
Oh my God! Thank you, David. Oh wow!
Yes, of course.